Today we're going to learn how to create a scroll animation. It's really easy, trust me. Let me delete everything, go to Geometry Nodes, hide this panel, and close this one. Let's create a new profile. I'm going to delete this, and let's create Shift-A, a curved line. Because we want a line to put objects. So let's connect it, and I'm going to put it in this axis. So I don't want Z, I want, for example, -4 and +4. So we have a perfect symmetric line. This line only have 2 points, this one and this one. And we want more points because we want to put more objects. So to put more objects, let's resample this line. With this node, we can control the number of objects that we're going to instance. So if you want 10 objects, you can leave it like that. If you want more, less, just change this number. I'm going to put 5. Now let's put some instance, so instance on points. And I'm going to use as instance cubes. Don't worry, later you can put any object that you want or any collection. I'm going to change a bit the shape of these objects. Something like that. Perfect, just for the example. So what we want now is to animate the scale of each individual instance based in the position of an object that we are going to move around this axis. So first, let's create this object. We are going to use an empty, for example, a sphere, that the only matters here is the position of this object. These lines is just for you to see what is the object, don't worry. Now, we need to bring this node information of the empty here. So let's drag the empty here. So we can get the location, the position of this object. Why? Because we need to calculate the distance between this point and the position of all instance. So to do that, we have already the position of the empty, and now we are going to search for vector math. And we are going to select distance. This allows us to calculate the distance between two positions, two vectors, this one and this one. So here we can connect the location of the empty, this point. I'm going to lock this. And now, to bring the position of each individual instance, we only need to connect position node. So now this is calculating the distance between this point and each individual instance, not only one, for every instance. And we can get this value and connect it to a scale. Why to scale? Because we want to create this animation, but for each individual line. So something like that. We are going to get 5 values at the same time. So if we connect it here, now we have different scales. And now you can see that if we move this object, it's reacting. So at least it's reacting for each individual instance. Okay, but how we can fix this? To fix this, we need to put a map range here. So let's add map range. And now, let me put this in the middle. So with the empty selected, I'm pressing N, and here you can change really fast the position of this empty. I'm going to put 0. So we have it in the middle. Perfect. I'm going to press N to hide this. So how this works? We are going to start for these two. It's really easy. Trust me. This value is the size of each individual instance. Remember, we are working with a scale. Is the scale when the position of the empty is really close to the position, to the center of each individual instance. What does it mean that? That now, this empty, when it's closer to the center, that means the distance is really short, the scale is 0. That's why it disappears. But if we move it, it gets bigger. And when it's out of the range, is this size, this scale. So this is the scale when it's not really close. So we can make the scale when it's out of the range, whatever you want, and when it's really close, bigger. So here I can say, I want bigger when the empty it's really close, and when it's out, I want smaller. So now, when I move this, I have this animation. If I want to reverse, I can make, when it's really close, smaller, and bigger when it's out of the range. Easy, right? Let me change this. Okay, perfect. And these two, what is? This one basically is like the range. So imagine we have a range like that, and if we increase this, basically what we are doing is to increase the range of reaction. So if you want to move this and start reacting before this change, you can increase this number. But if you want to make it shorter, the range, then basically make it really short. And we only react when it's really, really close. Look, it's not reacting, it's not reacting, it's not reacting. Now we start reacting. So this is how it works. And this one, you don't need to change it. With these three, it's okay. The size when it's really close, the size when it's really far away, and the range. Really easy. And I recommend you to not have any problem when you move this, to just move it in one axis. For example, green axis. So I recommend you to put this in 0 and just press G and Y and move this axis so you don't have any problem when you are moving this. And to create an animation, what you can do, for example, is to add keyframes here. So, for example, I'm going to make an animation from 0. I'm going to insert a keyframe. And now, for example, I want this to move in this axis. I'm going to create another keyframe. I'm going to move it in the other side. Something like that. And insert another keyframe. And then come back at the center. So we have this animation. Okay, maybe you're wondering, but how I can use my own objects in this animation? To do that, you need to create a collection with all the objects you want to use. For this example, I'm going to create 5 different monkeys and assign different materials. Okay, here I have my 5 objects. Imagine you have different objects, and now I need to select all of them and press M to create a new collection. I'm going to call it objects. Now you can hide it here from the render and the viewport, and let's show the cube and let's drag it here. So we want to delete this and drag this collection here and connect it as instance. Okay, now what's happening is that for each individual object we have 5 instances. So what we have to do is to click separate children and reset children. And now to pick different instance, we need to select pick instance. So now you can use your own objects. Remember, click here, here, and here. To fix the rotation, what you can do is to select all the objects. Let me hide this and select all of them. Press R and Z and 90. And Ctrl A, apply rotation. And now we have the right rotation. And if we click the empty, we can see it's working. If you enjoyed this video, give a like, subscribe, and you can download this project and many more in my Patreon. So, see you next video.